Hello and welcome to the Healing Codes podcast. I'm Julie Williams, your host, sending you healing activations and inspiration in every episode. Today's is the second in the Dopamine Detox Series, exploring what dopamine is, how it drives instant rewards, and why breaking free from constant stimulation can lead to better mental, emotional, and physical health. In the last episode, I covered the basics of how dopamine works in your body and how reducing high stimulation activities can be used to balance dopamine-driven behaviors to improve focus, reduce anxiety, and activate natural happiness. Today, I'll take you deeper on this journey to help you identify and work with your own dopamine-driven behaviors to repattern them into ones that serve your greatest good. Dopamine is part of our body's internal wisdom, working to support a sense of pleasure, motivation, and fulfillment. Often called the feel-good neurotransmitter, dopamine guides us towards things that bring us joy, satisfaction, and growth, energizing us to pursue goals, make meaningful connections, and fulfill our purpose in life. When dopamine flows smoothly, we feel motivated, energized, and in sync with our inner drive. But when the balance of dopamine is disrupted, either from stress, overstimulation, or mental strain, for example, our sense of motivation and joy can diminish, leading to imbalance and symptoms of burnout, anxiety, addiction, and depression. By understanding dopamine not just as a chemical, but as part of our journey towards well-being, we can nurture the inner and outer practices that bring balance, connecting deeply with others, engaging in fulfilling activities, and grounding ourselves in presence and mindfulness. Because dopamine is released when we're experiencing something enjoyable, it is part of our internal reward system. When we feel pleasure and get a hit of dopamine, our systems are encouraged to repeat that behavior, reinforcing behaviors that lead to positive outcomes. However, many people have become numb to the positive effects of dopamine by becoming desensitized to it. This occurs when the brain becomes less responsive to dopamine due to the prolonged or intense overstimulation of our reward system. The most common behaviors that I see that lead to this kind of thing would be too much screen time on social media or computer, television, excessive sugar intake, smoking, alcohol, caffeine, sex, and other addictive kinds of behaviors. This essentially is a dopamine addiction, where the intense need for immediate gratification drives behaviors. Like any addiction, however, over time, it takes more and more of the substance to have the same effect, reducing dopamine receptor sensitivity. This leads to the need for even higher levels of stimulation to feel the same pleasure, creating a cycle of dependency and reduced reward responses. It's important to note here that dopamine addiction isn't an official clinical term, but it is used to describe a cycle of behavior of continuously seeking activities that stimulate the brain's dopamine release. This is closely related to the idea of a behavioral addiction, where the pursuit of a pleasurable activity becomes overly dependent on the rewarding feelings dopamine provides, rather than on the dopamine itself. Research shows that dopamine desensitization can profoundly affect emotional, cognitive, and behavioral well-being. Over time, dopamine desensitization can lead to the inability to feel pleasure, even from activities that used to bring joy. This results in diminished motivation, making tasks feel more effortful and less rewarding. Dopamine's role in focus and learning is also impacted. Desensitization to it can lead to cognitive challenges like memory issues, difficulty concentrating, and impaired decision-making, which may reduce productivity and academic performance. Additionally, dopamine desensitization can increase risk-taking behaviors, because when normal dopamine stimuli lose their impact, it causes us to pursue intense experiences or risky behaviors, such as substance abuse or infidelity, for example, to create these feelings of reward. This effect makes dopamine desensitization super relevant in addiction studies, where it's understood to reinforce cycles of addictive behavior. Other effects of losing our sensitivity to dopamine include the increase of mood disorders like depression and anxiety, as dopamine plays a central role in emotional regulation. Chronic stress, which both causes and worsens dopamine desensitization, often contributes to these symptoms by dulling the brain's reward response. Over time, a desensitized dopamine system can also impact sleep and appetite, which are crucial for overall well-being, further contributing to these negative cycles. Long-term consequences extend beyond personal satisfaction, affecting social interactions and relationships due to reduced motivation for engagement and increased irritability. Dopamine desensitization can be seen as a call from the body's innate intelligence, inviting us to return to balance and reconnect with the authentic sources of fulfillment. Fortunately, studies suggest lifestyle modifications such as regular exercise, quality sleep, time in nature, mindfulness practices, and time away from overstimulating environments can help the brain regain dopamine sensitivity, which is what we call dopamine detox, which I talked about in episode 76, just previous to this one. While the name dopamine detox suggests the reducing of the amount of this neurotransmitter, it's not actually what we're looking for, as we need it for healthy, natural functions. Instead, a dopamine detox is about learning to resensitize the brain by seeking reward through self-care behaviors that bring a sense of pleasure, satisfaction, and connecting with loved ones. It's an invitation to rediscover joy in simple moments and cultivate resilience to engage with life in a way that fosters authentic pleasure and purpose. If you've been following this series thus far, perhaps you've been able to identify the triggers that create your dopamine desensitization. Becoming aware of these behaviors is the first step to reclaiming your joy, motivation, and creativity. Okay, so now let's talk about you. Let's explore together the behaviors that have led you down the path of needing a dopamine reset so that you can increase your feelings of motivation, energy, and build emotional resilience. I'll now take you through a guided meditation to help you understand your triggers and associated reward-seeking behaviors and install new habits to restore a healthy dopamine balance for health and well-being. Take time to find a quiet and still place where you can be free from distractions for the next few minutes. Feel free to have a notebook or journal nearby to write down what comes up for you, and pause this if you need more time to explore your answers. I will give you examples of behaviors during the meditation as a prompt to help you identify these for yourself. If one of these examples resonates deeply through your senses, note this, as it might be an important one to look at. So now, let's begin. Take a deep breath and close your eyes, relaxing and becoming fully present in the here and now. Let the thoughts of the past and future fade into the background as you drop into your heart and connect with your inner wisdom. Now, answer this using the first thought that comes to you. When I experience stress, loneliness, or boredom, my go-to comfort behavior or behaviors are what? Maybe it's eating, drinking caffeine or alcohol, smoking, sex, scrolling on social media, or binging on television or video games. If you have identified multiple behaviors, choose one for now and repeat this again with the other ones later. Now, take a moment to answer this question. This behavior gives me immediate pleasure in the following ways. For example, the sweet taste of a sugary snack, the burst of energy from caffeine, the relaxation of a drink, feeling grounded when you smoke, or a welcome distraction to relieve pain. What immediate pleasure does this behavior that you have identified give to you? Think back to the last time you used this behavior. After the immediate pleasure has worn off, do you get a sense of regret or beat yourself up for it? If you answer yes to this question, drop into your heart and have compassion for yourself, while welcoming the deeper wisdom of your soul that wants you to know this behavior is not serving your greatest good. Take a breath and feel now the support of your ancestors, mentors, teachers, and inspirations holding space for you. Allow yourself to relax into the comfort of their blessings and unconditional love. Let yourself be held just for a moment, knowing that you are loved, loving, and lovable. Get a true sense of this love and support. Feel it through your whole body, like you are floating in a love bath, soaking it in through all of the cells of your body. Notice the pleasurable sensations you feel, making this connection with the strength of your ancestors, the sparkle of your creative parts, the energy of inspiration, the wisdom of knowledge. Allow these pleasures to be activated in your spirit and deepen your soul. Take a breath here and anchor this into a place within you that you can come back to when you feel triggered and reach for old behaviors you used to use for comfort, but now you see that they do not serve your greatest good. Next, it's time to identify another behavior you can do that will bring you greater reward based on the pleasure you receive from your dopamine-seeking behavior. With a full heart, tune into the pleasure you get from the behavior you identified earlier. Are there ways you can get this reward with a longer-term benefit? Consult with your support team for ideas. For example, instead of smoking to feel grounded and calm, perhaps you can try a walk in nature or a short meditation to activate your root chakra. If you are seeking to distract yourself from emotional pain, call on the support of your ancestors to find the strength to look at this pain with the assistance of a skilled therapist. If you are seeking a burst of energy, try doing breath work or a movement practice to stimulate the energy flow throughout your body. Now that you've identified a behavior that you can substitute when you feel triggered, use this with awareness, love, and gratitude. And over time, you can rewire your brain to activate health, happiness, motivation, and creativity. Thank you for listening today. It was an honor to hold space for you. If you would like to learn more about me and my work, including my one-to-one offerings, my upcoming family constellation workshop, and on-demand courses, please visit my website at www.consciousness-medicine.com, where you can also sign up for my free e-newsletter and stay connected on social media from the links on the homepage.